Hey everybody, this week you are going to be doing an exploration activity, and I'm really excited to see what you all come up with. So, what you are going to be doing is finding some kind of data that you are interested in researching. I have given you some ideas to look into, but you are welcome to come up with your own idea as well. So, you are going to want to look at the attachment on your weekly update, and this kind of breaks down what the expectation is for this project. This is going to be your first major grade for this 9 weeks. So be sure you make a nice quality project, something that you're proud of, that I'm going to be able to give you a good grade on. So you are going to present your assignment on either a poster or a video or PowerPoint slides, however you want to present it, as long as it's something that you can upload to me by a link or upload through Canvas, because that's how I'll be grading it. So just be thinking of how you would like to present your project. The first part is I have given you some ideas like population growth, the growth of social media on a certain platform, so here's some possible ideas for you. I did put another category here. If you want to use another idea, just text me your idea or shoot me an email so that I can make sure that you're on track with your idea. I don't want you to choose something that's definitely not going to produce an exponential growth. So that's why I want you to just run it by me. So first, you're supposed to get an idea what you want to do your project on. Once you have your data, here is the outline of what I would like you to do. You're going to need 15 or 10 to 15 data points. So that means usually your data will be collected over time. So it could be over 10 years or 10 to 15 years or months or weeks. It just depends on what kind of data you're collecting. But you want 10 to 15 data points at minimum so we have enough data collected to be able to do some analysis on. Okay, once you get that data points, I would like you to make a table and a graph first using your data. I recommend using Desmos because it is a really cool graphing tool that you can use. I have opened up, if you go to desmos.com, I went here and I put in here the data that we did last week on the coronavirus cases. So this is the weeks and this is the worldwide cases by week. To get this, there's a little plus sign here in the corner. And when you click that plus sign, you can just hit table. And it'll give you a little T-chart to be able to put your data in. Then to be able to see what your graph looks like, you guys are going to run a regression like we did last week using your stat edit. And then you can get an equation. So last week when we calculated the regression equation on this, we got 219.594, 1.787, and I did an up arrow to get that little x. So if you put it with a y equals, it makes an equation here for you. You make sure you have an x and a y in order to get the equation. And it's really cool because it shows you the graph here that we did in our calculator last week. So you can now see our data points and our line. So this is how you can do your graph for your project. Keep in mind that this is your initial value. So our initial amount was around 2,000. So they're kind of taking an average here. And this number is the most important. This is our growth factor. So this is the factor by which this function is growing. So that is a key number when you're looking at your data. The next part of your project after you've done the table and the graph is I want you to, and you've done the equation. So we've done the table, the graph, and the regression equation. Next thing I want you to do is really do some data analysis. What does the math that you've just done mean? That's the whole point of doing math, is what can we gather from this? So you're going to look at the correlation. How well is your data correlated to your regression equation? You're going to look at that R squared value. Remember, anything better than 0.7 is decently correlated. The closer to 1, the better. So below 0.7 is not closely correlated. Kind of think of it as like a grade, like a 70% is passing, but most of y'all are not happy with that. You want like in the 80s and 90s range, right? So if you think about it as a grade, you can think about what is a good correlation and what's not. So you're going to say whether this is a good model to make future predictions. Then you're going to say, do you expect this to continue? Well, if we look at our data here, we see that we had a much steeper rise here, tapered off a little bit, and then it grew. And it looks like it's still continuing to grow, but we know that because this is based on coronavirus cases, it's not going to continue to grow forever because eventually so many people are going to have it. We're going to have vaccines. People are doing things to taper this off. So we know that eventually this has to taper off. Eventually, the number of cases are going to drop. We just don't know when at this point. So when you guys are doing your analysis, these are the kinds of things I want you to talk about is what is happening with your data? Is it going to grow forever? What are some things that could make the outcome change? What could make this exponential growth finally start to taper off? Those are the things I want you to talk about in your analysis. Last, I want you to make a prediction. If this trend continues, so let's say it carries on, what do you predict will be the outcome in 10 years? In my case, it would have been like down the road, in 20 weeks, what is going to be my prediction for how many cases there are if we continue to exponentially grow? That's the question I'm asking. The last set of points are based on your neatness and creativity. And in the rubric that I posted on Canvas, you'll see things that I posted, like I'm looking for good spelling, good grammar, just good presentation skills that you would normally expect for any project that you guys do. So if you have any questions, be sure to ask me, but that's kind of what I'm looking for. So you have a week to complete this project, and I'm looking for some really great projects coming from you guys. So this will be our first major grade for this 9 weeks, and then next week we will begin doing logs. So good luck. Let me know what questions or concerns you guys have about your project, and I look forward to see what you're coming up with.